Hey, it's me, the Soy Pill, and this video will teach you how to look like this. I kind of hate the fitness industry. I hate that it preys on insecurity, and I hate that it implies your problems will be solved with coaching or supplements or checking your subscriptions for the next influencer video, even though there's nothing new they can teach you, so they have to keep making up silly workout topics or paying for a plan or some stupid new workout technique, because all of those things can and do help people, but you don't need all that. In fact, in my opinion, aside from the gym membership and food, you should spend a grand total of $0 to get and stay fit. Is it because I'm Jewish? No, that's a coincidence. In fact, I'm going against the Talmud by not charging you for this video. This video is going to tell you everything you need to know to look better than 99% of the population that doesn't take their health seriously. If you want to go pay someone to make you have 27 abs instead of 6, I can't stop you. But if you want to get fit, get complimented, be asked to carry all the chairs at the picnic, ruin your Instagram algorithm, and generally feel better about yourself, this video has all the tools you'll need for the rest of your life. So let's get into it, motherfuckers! Results are not guaranteed. This video does not instruct on form or what works best for you, and the Soy Pill is not responsible for any injuries or health effects that you sustain while trying to emulate him. Feeling better about yourself may come with an additional diagnosis of body dysmorphia, and you'll never be satisfied and happy. Oh, and obviously, if you're a girl, you probably don't want to look like this, so don't copy me. Well, I guess this next part might be relevant to you. Part 1, the kitchen. If you want to look good, you need to start with eating. Jesus, wait, not like that. Well, maybe like that. There's basically 3 things that you can do with eating: bulking, cutting, and maintaining. Bulking is gaining muscle. Cutting is losing fat and some muscle in the process, and maintaining is staying the same. Figuring out which you want to do is more important than any weight routine, because you may not be eating enough and withering away, or eating too much and getting fatter than you want. Seriously, if you skip right to the workout routine and aren't following this eating advice, you're wasting your time, so pay attention. Here's what you're gonna do. Step 1, pick a goal. Do you want bigger muscles? You're gonna start bulking. Do you want to lose weight? You're gonna cut. Are you happy with how you look? Wrong. No one's ever happy with how they look. That was a test and you failed. The reason you hear about bulk and cut cycles is that people usually alternate between the two, bulking up to gain the muscle, cutting the fat away, and repeating the process until they die sad and unfulfilled. Technically, it's possible to lose fat and gain muscle or bulk up while staying skinny, but that requires a meticulous measure of every single Tic Tac you ingest, and no one sane wants to do that. Speaking of meticulous measuring, you've heard the whole chicken and rice shtick, and probably think that this next section is going to be about how you're never allowed to eat good food. But good news, that's only for these bodybuilder types that need their biceps to have biceps and dehydrate themselves to the point of passing out before their shows. There's really only 2 things that I adhere to: protein and calories. Protein builds muscle, calories make you go. If you're getting enough protein and eating around the same amount of calories every day, you're doing everything you need to. But how do you know how much you need? Everyone has a BMR, base metabolic rate. This is what your body is burning based on your normal lifestyle. The sides of these food labels say something about a 2,000 calorie diet, which is close to the average. But maybe you do manual labor or walk all the time. Maybe you sit in an office all day. Maybe you sit in an office but hold a bunch of files and walk around in circles to pretend to look busy. Maybe you're a 5'11" short king. Maybe you're a 100-foot tall eldritch god that burns 1,000 calories with each step. I don't know. But as you'll soon see, this video is all about estimating. So just go to a BMR calculator, enter your data, and pick a number. We'll get into fixing it later. Bulking, or gaining muscle, means you add 200 to 400 to the number and eat that many calories every day. On the other hand, cutting means you subtract 200 to 400. It's that easy. For protein, I eat 1 gram of protein per pound of my goal body weight. Right now, I'm shooting to be 190 pounds, so I eat 190 grams of protein per day. Now this one's a little weird because you probably don't know your goal body weight until you start getting to your ideal body. But again, we're guesstimating because no one wants to do all that work. Just start between 10 to 20 pounds in whatever direction you're moving and then iterate from there. Okay, step 2, you need to get a calorie tracker. I use Chronometer, not because I'm sponsored, but because it has nice colors. It even lets you scan the barcode on stuff, so it's very easy. You can start off slow. Just enter whatever food you eat in a normal day. 2 eggs, a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi, 2 entire bottles of ranch, 1 kitten, And then you take a look at the end of the day and whoops, those numbers look too high and the protein looks too small. So click around and see what may be hurting your goals. The biggest one is usually soda. It has a lot of calories and no protein, so you should probably start drinking diet. Hold on, you say. What about these other macros? I just ignore these. Chances are, if you're eating enough protein for your goals, you probably didn't have some food that had just as much fat and carbs in it, so don't worry about these. You might be confused. On one hand, you can technically eat whatever you want so long as it meets these two numbers that you set for yourself, but eating what you want might not meet these numbers. I could eat this entire Domino's pizza for breakfast, but now I've already hit my calorie limit and I've fallen short on my protein. And
pizza's not for breakfast!
But that doesn't mean you can never eat pizza. For one, it's okay if you don't hit this goal every day. It's not an all or nothing thing. If I had 189 grams instead of 190 for one day, my body isn't going to disintegrate. And getting it wrong 1 or 2 times a week won't make a huge difference. For two, as long as you eat in moderation, you can still enjoy all your favorite foods. It's fine to eat a slice of pizza or two, but then the rest of the day, you're eating more proteiny foods for other meals. Sometimes I save 200 non-protein calories for ice cream at the end of the day. Sometimes my friends want to go out and get some noodles, so I save a whole 1,000 calories for dinner.
Noodle.
Basically, if you eat right 60% of the time, it's going to make up eating like shit the other 40%. And this is easier if you stock up on high-protein, low-calorie meals, because you'll be supplementing the rest of the day when you want to eat candy or cookies or cake or crap.
Meat.
So meat is one of the best sources of protein, which is unfortunate because if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you don't eat that. I should be vegan because it's the right thing to do, but I'm not. When we do the Nuremberg trials for meat eaters, please don't use this clip. So anyway, you can buy meat in bulk and add whatever spices or butters or oils you want to cook it in and not really worry too much. All those bodybuilders who complain about their unseasoned chicken breast are being too strict. Add some salt and pepper for fuck's sake. If you're vegetarian, yogurt is another good option. I eat so much Greek yogurt, I may as well suck it out of the udder of the Greek cow. And it doesn't have to be plain. These vanilla Greek yogurts have around 10 grams of protein per 100 calories, which is a good ratio. It's not as good as the plain one, but it lets you have some flavor. For vegans, man, I don't know. I think you're supposed to eat like a shit ton of peas or something. This roided up vegan guy makes it work, so just pick the highest protein bean you can and gobble that shit down. Just follow the metric that most protein-rich foods should have at least 10 grams of protein per 100 calories. It's always good to check the label on the back and do some quick math. This product advertises itself as a protein-rich, delicious cookie ball. But if you check the back, for every 200 calories, you're only getting 8 grams, which is dog shit. These protein bars have 20 grams per 200 calories, which is around 100 for 10. Speaking of which, what's the deal with protein powder? Do I need it? Basically, imagine scientists got tired of calculating how much protein was in different natural foods, so they slammed chicken breasts together in the Hadron Collider until it turned into powder that you can ingest for instant gains. Besides chicken breast, protein powder is one of the fastest ways to hit your goals and save some calories for a good meal out. But I don't like it because it doesn't really make me full. For breakfast, sometimes I eat 2 Costco protein bars and a protein coffee shake. That's almost half of my day's protein and far less than half of my day's calories in one meal. If you're being strict on calories, I think protein powder is a waste of money, when instead you could be happier eating another small meal. Really quick on the topic of supplements, I take creatine monohydrate. What does it do? I don't really know. Does it work? I also don't know. I stopped for months and I barely noticed a difference, so it's probably not that important. But now that I've been doing it for years, I'm afraid that if I stop, I'll explode. You'll probably see other stuff like pre-workout or amino acids or steroids, and besides those last ones giving you heart problems and potentially killing you and being illegal, the trade-off for dollar usually isn't worth it. In my experience, it's just influencers who want to sell you something that makes a tiny little difference in your physique, but ultimately is a waste of money and is just preying on your insecurities.
We are being poisoned. Our fertility is being targeted, and it's dropping across the Western world.
Speaking of which, did you know that you're completely vulnerable at the gym? No, not like that. On your phone. Using the public gym Wi-Fi can open your phone up to hackers, which is why I use Surfshark VPN when I'm browsing at the gym. It doesn't make me lift more, but it does protect me from hackers, so I can spend more time focused on my form instead of worrying about being impersonated on Bosnian dating sites. Bosnians can even watch American Netflix that would normally be banned, because then all of their women would flee the country to pursue American men. Surfshark also has Surfshark Search, which lets you avoid ads and keep your searches private. Like if you searched, is it illegal to get a mail order bride from Bosnia? I'm literally not allowed to put this weight down until you go to surfshark.com/soypill or use code SOYPILL at checkout. You'll get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN and access to the other Surfshark products, like Surfshark Search.
Please.
We all love snacking on salty treats, but a lot of those are so calorie heavy that they'll offset your protein goals. To avoid this, I swap out powdered chips like Doritos with popcorn. Look how much popcorn I can eat versus if they were Doritos. Vegetables have 0 calories in them. Now, I just lied to you. That's not true. But I treat them that way because it's pretty negligible compared to most other foods. You can eat them raw or cooked in the oven with some salt. They're great, but don't try to cheat by putting a shit ton of dressing on them and dipping them in cheese. I see you, motherfucker. Don't mistake fruits for vegetables, even though VeggieTales lied to us and said that Bob the tomato was a vegetable, when he's really a fruit. Fruits have more calories in them than vegetables, so even though they're less than a candy bar, you should still count them. But they're still pretty low calorie and healthy, which is why I add blueberries to my yogurt, or have the occasional apple or tomato. I know this all seems like a lot for a workout video, but again, trust me, this is the most important part of any workout routine. If you don't eat right, instead of building up a rock-hard body, you'll be wasting all your days at the gym for no reason. Or as my friend JJ McCullough says,
If you ain't gaining, you're waning.
all right, now let's get really pumped with the next section that you've all been waiting for. Part 2, tracking progress and hitting goals.
When are they gonna get to the
Jim.
Eating the same protein and calories, give or take, might sound easy enough, but how do you know you even picked the right numbers for your BMR, or your cut, or your bulk? Plus, not every food comes in a pre-packaged size with a barcode, so it might not be easy to enter into your calorie tracker. This is a cookie. This is also a cookie. What do I do? One thing that helps is to buy a kitchen scale. This may sound tedious, but you basically treat it like your plate. Got some meat, put it on the scale. You got some pasta, put it on the scale. Got a cat, put it on the scale. It's pretty easy to look up any of these foods. But what if it's not a homogeneous food, like Uncle Chuck's famous ass-blasting chili? Put it on the scale. But wait a minute, Uncle Chuck's famous ass-blasting chili isn't on the app. That's fine, just type chili and pick one. Unless Uncle Chuck uses the rare, ultra-calorie-dense uranium-238 Inferno pepper from Costa Laharia, it's probably gonna be about the same as any other commercial chili. But what if you eat out or let someone else cook for you? You don't want to be some weird freak that brings their scale to every outing or only prepares their meals at home. And this is the one time in my life that I will ever praise fast food chain restaurants. They're the go-to for estimating pretty much any meal. They all have pretty regulated portion sizes and calorie information online. Because God forbid they give you a little extra meat at Chipotle without charging you $6. So obviously, if you ate somewhere like Panda Express, you could know exactly how much you ate with, say, the broccoli, beef, and rice because they're both in the app. But maybe you're at the only Chinese restaurant in a rural Serbian village, and they don't post the broccoli beef data. Just type in the data from Panda Express, and it'll probably be pretty similar. Whether it's takeout or home prepared, as you start to do this more, you'll get a feel for about how much you ate, and just kind of guess. Unless you're at the Heart Attack Grill, most places use similar portion sizes. And even if they don't, what's more American than looking at a huge burger and saying, that's about 2 to 3 McDonald's burgers worth of burger? Is it prone to error? Of course. But if you're consistently making errors in the same way, you're still going to move in the right direction. If you're gaining weight when you think you need to be losing, you're probably underestimating on some of your foods, and you need to up your guesses. And if you're not gaining weight when you want to be, you're probably overestimating how much you're eating. Your first guess for your BMR might have been wrong. Maybe you burn more, maybe you burn less. And that's why it's important to track your weight progress. So we're going to be using a method that I call PPW, or the post-poop weigh. After your morning poop, which I know you all take, weigh yourself and check if you're gaining or losing weight. That's it. That's the PPW. If you don't do a morning poop, that's fine. But if you're weighing yourself after meals or drinking water, your results are always going to vary. I like to be consistent, so post-poop weigh. You can do this once a day or once a week, but ideally you should be headed between half a pound or a pound in the direction you want to go per week. Just remember to keep your goals in mind and stay consistent. If you ate wrong, got sick, or you missed a workout day because of an emergency, weeks of consistency will make up for any few days of slipping up. Don't freak out because you ate too much with your friends. Make it up by being consistent the rest of the week. Miss some food for a day, eat a big breakfast tomorrow. If If you made it this far, good job. You know like 90% of the information to getting fit, and you haven't even touched a weight. So I guess that we can get into blasting our fucking biceps until we throw up! Finally, I'm gonna show you my workout. But one last thing about food. I try to eat some protein and carbs about an hour before I go. When I don't do this, I feel like I lift less and don't have enough energy to make it through the workout. Now, I go to the gym every other day with 2 exercise routines. Why just 2? Because as you can tell by now, I'm incredibly lazy. Day 1, push. After getting in the gym, the first thing you do is go to the incline bench. Well, what about stretching, you might ask? Stretching is time wasted that you could be using for lifting, so I don't do it. I do, however, have a warm-up on the first exercise of any day. For the incline bench, I start with around half as much weight on each side as I lift for my heaviest set. So if I'm going to do 2 plates, I warm up with 1 plate on each side for 5 reps. Then take a 2-minute break, then add 50% of the weight on each side. For me, that's another 25. I do that for 3 reps, take another 2-minute break, and then it's time to start the actual workout. Put on my 5-rep max weight and do 5 reps. For the next set, I take 10% off of each side, and after a 3-minute break, I do 6 reps. Finally, another 10% off, a 3-minute break, and 8 reps. This is what I call a heavy exercise, with the dropping in weight and the increasing in reps. Now, if you don't know where to start on any of these exercises, just begin with the lowest weight and work your way up until it hurts when you do 5 reps. It might take a while to figure out, but don't worry, this is your life forever now. If you're gaining muscle and you want to move up in weight, I try to increase in increments of 5 pounds, and always have a spotter just in case. If you're cutting, you're gonna move down in weight. Don't worry about the number that you lift. You'll feel good and you'll look good in the mirror. My next 2 workouts are also heavies, but don't have warm-ups. First is sitting shoulder press. 5-rep max, lose 10%, 6 reps, lose 10%, 8 reps. Remember, 3-minute breaks in between. Next is the dumbbell bench press. Same thing, 5, 6, 8, moving down in weight, taking 3-minute breaks. The next 3 are what I call light exercises. For shoulder raises, I use the same weight for 4 sets. 12 reps, 1-minute break, 10 reps, 1-minute break, 8 reps, 1-minute break, 6 reps. If you're not struggling on the last reps, it's probably too easy, move up in weight. The next 2 light exercises are rope pull-downs for the triceps, which I sometimes superset with Facepulls. Supersetting an exercise means you do one right after the other. 12 pull-downs, 12 Facepulls, 1-minute break, and then 10, 8, and 6. But hold on, this is a push day. Why do I do this pull exercise for your back on push day? The answer is, I don't know. I saw some guy doing it once, and he looked good, so I did it too. Shut up. The final light exercise is the longest because I want to have a big chest. Cable flies at the top angle, the middle angle, and the lower angle. 12, 10, 8, 6 for all 3. I like this one because I can pretend like I'm squeezing a little grape between my boobs. By the way, if someone asks how long you have on anything, but especially these, let them work in with you. You're using it for 12 sets. Don't be a dick. All right, that's push day. Day 2, pull. All right, you already know the warm-up method and the metric for heavy and light exercises. So here's the list. Deadlifts with the warm-up, 5 and 3, and then 5 reps, 6 reps, and 8 reps with 3-minute breaks, removing 10% each time. Don't go too heavy on these. I can go higher than I do, but one bad day and you're fent leaning for the rest of your life. So just be careful and use a weight belt. The ego trip from lifting a huge number is not worth the mistake of having a slipped or compressed disc. Next is bicep dumbbell curls, 5, 6, 8. Lat Pulldowns, 5, 6, 8, and squats, 5, 6, 8. Then for light exercises, sitting rows supersetted with rear delt flies, then easy bar curls. I don't know why it's called an easy bar, it's the little curly one. But if you don't have that, you can use the straight one. It doesn't matter. Cardio and abs. On both days, I do 3 ab exercises. Side raises with a weight, 25 reps, 3 sets each side. Leg raises, 25 reps, 3 sets. And hanging leg raises, 10 reps, 3 sets. This last one also helps train your grip. And don't worry if you can't do them right away. You will eventually. Many people say they hate cardio, and they should. It's really boring, but it's good for aiding your cutting goals since it burns a lot of calories. Give or take, every 5 minutes of cardio gives me like 50 additional calories burned. So if my cut is going slow and I don't want to eat less, I'll add 5 to 10 minutes of cardio. Make sure you do these after your weights and your abs so you don't tire yourself out. I like using these treadmills at 4 times speed and 4 incline. You don't have to be sprinting, just a nice walk. If your cut's going too slow, add another 5 minutes of walking. If your bulk's going too slow, stop doing cardio. Although I hear that might cause heart problems. I'm not a fucking doctor. Gym etiquette. I already mentioned letting people work in with you, but also on the etiquette list is re-racking your weights. Always put your weights back where you got them. I know it feels like extra work after you did your big set, but it's also another workout, which trains your grip and makes you a good person. If you don't re-rack your weights, you probably also don't put the shopping cart back, meaning that you're going to hell. Share. Sharing weights can suck, especially if you go to the gym after 9 to 5 work hours and use weights that most people work with, like the 25s or the 35s.
They took the little ones.
If you can't find what you need, ask whoever's using them if you can use it while they're on a break. What's great is, once you get big enough, you start to use the weights that no one else touches. So it's like having your own personal gym. I know we already talked about motivation, but if you're losing steam at the gym, I like to channel my frustration of the current political moment and pretend that I'm a government experiment, designed as a bioweapon to crush my enemies. And on the other side of the mirror is a team of scientists studying my progress. Wow, that was like the shortest part of the video and probably the reason you clicked on it. Bet you feel stupid now. I just made you watch me eat like a mukbang. Again, this might not be for everyone. It might not be optimal, and people might modify it if they have different genetics or want different shapes. And as we get to the end, you might be thinking, hold on, is that really it? I can already read the comments that say, you didn't train your rear fourth lat sep. Your bicep curl form is bad, and that's why you're forever gonna be mogged. And that's the beauty of all of this. The reason that this is the only workout video you'll ever need is that the workout community is a relentless bunch of critical freaks who will never let a single thing you do wrong go. If you're doing something wrong, someone's gonna point it out. Someone will tell you what you're missing. I already posted gym videos in the past just to demonstrate this. And I know a bunch of people are gonna see this and leave comments and respond, but joke's on you, you're just teaching me to look better. Everything that I've shown you here is an amalgamation of failures and critiques from every side of the workout sphere. If any of it's wrong, you'll know pretty fast, either in the comments or at the gym. From a roided up expert to a skinny guy who doesn't actually work out but reads a lot and just wants to tell you that you're wrong. By watching this, you have all the tools that you need to look great and feel amazing. And if you need to adjust for your specific needs, whether that's with food, muscle, or you only have one arm, by the time you've figured out your perfect routine or dream body, it might look 100% different from what I've shown you here. But as long as you record what you eat, track your progress, have a consistent routine, and get unsolicited advice from other fitness freaks, you're gonna do great. I wish you luck and hope you don't go to the same gym as me, so I have more access to the weights. Keeping this one apolitical, so no ladders this time, but I've got 2 for the next video. As always, thank you to my patrons and members, but especially my top tier patrons, Ash, Anita Bonghit, Astra Cosmos, Big Mac 1906, Bo the Banana, Rat Tamer, Broke Gemini 907, Babowski, Church, Died Famous, Dr. Pepper Lover, Engulf, Just Stop, Marche Taylor, Morton Grew, Mr. Blonde, Nipple Fisting, Omega Omelet, Sainted Cookie, Yeah, I'm actually married to a disabled person. Yeah, my wife, she has Down syndrome. She has an IQ of 40. Take Mamoru, Toby the Robot, Mr. Thoughtless, Joseph S, Mad, Evan A, Chris T, and Shri Kumar. And don't forget to type 1 to do a deep squat.